Dawson is in Canada. Hi, Dawson. Welcome to the Entree Podcast.
Hi, Dave. Thanks so much for having me on today.
Sure.
I run a landscaping company. We have about 5 team members, and we do a little over or under $400,000 a year in revenue.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have any debt as a company, and so our profits are pretty strong every year. And I was wondering if you could give me some advice or general thoughts on how to balance how to use those company profits every year between reinvesting back into the business for future growth and some of the personal goals that me and my wife have along the baby steps, such as paying off our mortgage and things like that.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, what we do is, and we have from the start, is we take a percentage of profits every month and add it to retained earnings inside of Ramsey, business savings, okay? And business savings is used for stability. So if there's some kind of a downturn, we can handle that with cash because we don't borrow money. It is also used to reinvest and grow the business. So if we need to buy a piece of equipment, or in your case, replenish some equipment, or maybe extra equipment, I don't know. But you regularly are replacing equipment. Your equipment replacement on a schedule probably ought to be in your P&L before we even discuss this, actually, before you get to profit. Yeah. You ought to have a systematic equipment replacement in your world. You're running mowers and stuff, right?
Correct. Yeah, our most wear and tear on our equipment would be on our mowers, and that's really the biggest item for us, yeah.
Yeah, and so I would put those on a straight schedule where every month I set aside, okay, the mower it costs X number of dollars, and it lasts a certain number of time. Divided into that tells me how much per month I need to be saving to replace that mower, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And be systematically doing that out of the P&L before I hit profit, okay? And because that's operational expense for you. That's not really growth. That's just continuing to exist. Because if you don't replace those mowers, you're out of business.
Right.
Yeah, so that needs to be in the P&L. Now, then moving on. Past that, when we get down to net profit per month out of the $400,000, I'm going to guess and say it's probably $300, wasn't it?
Net.
No. You got 3 people working for you. It might be 200. About 200.
We do about a little over 200 a year in net profit, and then out of that over 200, I take a $60,000 salary.
Yeah. But that doesn't matter. Out of the 200, you take a $60,000 salary, but you still got 140 left, and you took some of that home, didn't you?
The 140, I have in the past. Me and my wife took out a large withdrawal / dividend, and we put that right to the mortgage, and we're on track to pay off the mortgage in 3 years from now. So past that, I'm just kind of looking at.
So
okay,
if
how much do I want to grow this thing?
Yeah,
I don't want to grow it to the point where it's sacrificing my marriage or something like that. So I'm just trying to figure out what the long-term strategy would be.
Okay, so if before we get to 200, the mower replacement is taken care of, now we've got 200 that belongs to Dawson. The business can operate, and I got 200 belonging to Dawson. Let's use that as an example, okay?
Okay.
Then if we said, all right, I need to be saving for future growth and for unforeseen circumstances, emergencies, okay? And I need to be saving the business for that. The rest of it I can take home. And so I don't know what that number is.
Yeah.
But if you said, okay, let's see, if it was $50,000 a year, that would be 1/4 of my profit. 25% of my profit, I'm just making this up, Dawson, okay? But 25% of my profit I'm going to take home, I'm going to leave in the business. So I'm going to leave $50,000 in the business a year. Or if you wanted to make it an even amount per month, $60,000, $5,000 a month on average is going into savings a year for adding to equipment or other types of growth in the business or emergencies that come up. And the rest of it, you might as well take it home and do your goals.
Okay. Yeah, that's very encouraging. I just there's something about it that seems wild to me. I mean, after I pay off the mortgage, I kind of am in a weird place where I'm like, what am I going to do with that?
Well, I mean, how are you going to grow the business so the business doesn't take over your life, like you mentioned earlier? But you could triple the business if you had leadership in place, right?
Right. That's a great point.
Yeah. I mean, you're sitting really at kind of treadmill slash, you're not driving a mower, but you're sitting really at Pathfinder level, but you could level up the Trailblazer by putting some more people in place that are leadership style to where put some guys in place that are, as sharp as you are that could run a company this size and then grow the company 3X and let each one of them be running a third of the company that is something about like we're running now. And you could do all of that. Then you're leading them. They're leading their 3 different areas. Or you could branch off and go from mowing over into irrigation if you haven't already, or mowing, you're in Canada, into snow blowing. I don't know. I'm making up stuff here on the fly. But I don't, you could grow the scope and the size of the business as it is, or you could do, horizontal integration, meaning you could go into different associated businesses that you add to this business by growth. You can do a lot of different things, but and if you chose to, then you could say, I'm going to leave more money. Right now, we're going to stay on the 25% schedule, but if we look up and we go, hey, I'd like to do this $100,000 thing over there, only got, I don't have enough in the account to do that, so we're not going to take as much home for 6 months, and we're going to dump it in over there. I did that when I built the building I'm sitting in. I've been taking very little home for about 5 years, because I've been building buildings all over the place over here. Very little in proportion to what I make, but not very little. But I mean, I've been dumping money. I've been building. I got this huge campus with 600,000 square feet now, all paid for, and did all that with cash. But all that was I reallocated the profits. Instead of taking them home, I built buildings with them. In your case, you might be doing something else. I mean, and now I don't have any buildings under construction for the first time in a while. I feel like the kids got out of college or something, and I got my money back. So now I got money coming in. I'm like, okay, cool. I can take all this home again and start doing some personal investing in addition to business. So, and that's, my point is, it can ebb and flow. You don't have to chisel the 25% in concrete. I just made that up just now. So there's nothing magic about that number. So that's exactly where you are. Hey, man, you're doing a good job. Way to go. Keep it up. Keep it up. And you're thinking clearly. When we were your size is about when we started setting aside a percentage of profit. And we looked at it just like we looked at yours. We said, okay, we need to be X percent. And we just looked at yours and we made it up and we said, hey, 25%. You may look at it harder, you and your wife, and go, we're going to leave 35%. I don't care. But put a formula to it so you don't have to think about it again, and it's on autopilot, and the money's automatically dumping into your checking account and automatically dumping in that savings account over at the business. And so our profit we already know where it's going. We don't have to sit and wring our hands and think about it every month. It's systematized. It's processed. And again, that's one of the steps of moving to Pathfinder from Pathfinder to Trailblazer from where you are, starting to put processes and systems in place. So excellent, excellent job. Well done, sir.